This video is made for adult collectors because he's stupid. He's stupid. I've already messed it up. I just started. The AMK Pro line keeps evolving for the better with every release, but this has something that also really annoys me. This is AMK Pro Starscream, and the biggest question I saw when posting about this on social media was, why bother with the masterpiece if this exists for only 50 bucks? Well, I mean, the MP's bigger, it's a jet, it scales with the rest of your MP figures, but if you want something cool to just stand there in like a dynamic pose and look pretty, then this is a good option for that. It also doesn't cost $300. Huge thanks to Yolopark for sending this my way. They have this guy on pre-order right now for 50 bucks, and you get a pre-order bonus of like this acrylic stand thingy, so that's neat. I'll link it below, so if you want to grab one for yourself, go for it. And if you use code toyguy, you save 5% off of your order on most items. And thanks to Yolopark for sending this my way. Now back to the actual toy. This thing feels super nice with the die cast, but also the dense plastic, because these don't feel like the regular AMK stuff. The biggest pro about this though, get it, is the finish. The paint is done so well. Not only are the colors bright and vibrant, but also the paint chipping. Not like a bad paint chipping. They did this intentionally. They do it in what appears to be 3 layers: the bare metal, the base coat or whatever that is called, and then the top layer. And it's so well done. And it changes based on the surface it's on. The red just does 2, whereas the blue and gray do 3 layers. It's very like intricate, but also easy to understand it, and it looks really neat. That mixed with the wash is very well done. The wash helps picks out those lines in the legs and the arms, but on the wings, it really helps. I find wings on some Starscream toys can just look really boring slabs of gray. So this technique helps pick out those lines and make the wings look more substantial and less like unpainted pieces of gray plastic. Also, the con symbols are upside down because it's animation model. His hands, I'm not the biggest fan of visually. They look like human hands a bit. The way they're sculpted and like they're bigger than what they should be, I think personally, I'm not a fan of them. Optimus has the same problem. He has alternate faces, but the two of them look really similar and can be hard to differentiate between them because the facial expressions are so close. He has his null rays and they're on ball joints and they're removable if you want to do that, I don't know. But he also comes with blast effects that he can plug into both guns and the rockets on his feet. That coupled with the opening chest panels and the missile pods, which have blast effects of their own, it opens up to a lot more display options. And he also includes a flight stand, so you can do a plethora of things. So Starscream's articulation is where my biggest issue with this figure comes from, because everything else about it is completely fine. There's just one part. So to start with, you have the head, which is on a ball joint. It can, you know, tilt a little bit left and right. He can look up and down only a little bit. I wish he could look down a bit further. Like, I wish there was a hinge, but it just comes off. I don't know if that's like a pre-production thing. Maybe there is a hinge in here that's just not coming out, but yeah, it's like that. The shoulders can do a full 360. The wings can move out of the way to accommodate that full 360 because they can you know, flap. You got shoulders in and out. You have a butterfly joint. You have bicep rotation, double jointed elbows that can, you know, go all the way. Wrist is on a ball joint, thumb, and then the 3-finger trigger finger split with 2 knuckles and ball joints at the null race. So there's a lot of articulation in the arms. I have noticed, however, that this arm likes to come off a little bit easily when I'm using the butterfly joint, but again, pre-production, that could just be a pre-production thing. I assume it is. Also, I don't think I mentioned, but the build of this was exactly the same as it would be for something like this. It was completely fine. Here's my issues. So, you have an ab crunch. Goes forward that far, goes back that far. It doesn't go back very far, but it goes forward quite a bit, and there's piston detail exposed. That's really cool. However, you see where the cockpit goes? You know exactly where this is going now. There's no waist joint. There's no waist joint. It's not here. He doesn't have a waist joint. He has a waist joint. He has a waist joint. This guy has a Deadpool fell over and landed on Megatron's crotch. Like he doesn't have one. And the Masterpiece doesn't have one either. Now on the Masterpiece, I didn't like it, but I can also kind of understand why, because it has to transform. This doesn't. And it's this right here. It's the underpants. If I take this off, the cockpit sits in this slot right here. And when it does, it's on a ball joint, so you could get it to rotate. There's like tape in here, I just noticed that. But like, you can get it to rotate on a ball joint, but because of how it sits, it doesn't move. It doesn't go anywhere. It's really unfortunate because it very, bro's T-posing. It very much limits how dynamic you can make him look. You can still make him look very dynamic, but having the ability to turn his waist would make it even more. I could get him into the 1 foot running pose. I can't actually do that on this because his waist doesn't rotate, so he has poor balance, which is kind of annoying. But that being said, the hip skirts are really cool. So you have the ones over here at the side that flip out, and then you have the one at the back is one entire piece. But the front ones, I'll just move the leg, they shift up. You see that? I wish they sprung back down, but I think that's asking for a little too much. They shift up. They don't go out. And I think that looks very cool. It looks a lot nicer than this. Than just bloop, than that. I quite dig the way that they did it here. That's really neat how it just shifts up and down. But they can go forward that far. The legs can go back that far. You have in and out. You have a drop down hip as well, so they can get them to go even further out if you want to. You have thigh rotation that just likes to start coming off, but again, pre-production, there we go. You have a double jointed knee, and then the ankles, they cannot move down, unfortunately, which would have been nice for flying poses, but they don't. They can't go up either, but you have toe joint. So there's actually, I think they can go up. Let me remove the foot. No, they cannot go up. I'm just stupid. But then you have a massive ankle tilt. So also, is it this one? Yeah, this one. This likes to come off a little easily, but this entire piece here is made out of die cast. So he has a very strong and stable base because he has die cast feet. There's a couple other bits of die cast in here, like these are die cast as well. And I think there's something else in the torso. I think these are die cast. Yeah, these are die cast too. But the feet have it in there, which is really good because it means he's stable. He's solid. He can stand properly. Now, I did notice that these hands are actually different molds from Optimus, because they use, like, the hands look exactly the same, right? But if you look really closely, there's no slot. At least the palm is a brand new piece, which I think is cool, but it would have been funny if they left the slot in there, because then I could give him Optimus Prime's gun. But yeah, it's just that waist. I really wish that waist had a like, the joint's there. It's just the sculpt blocks it. And I'm never a fan of when the sculpt blocks a joint. That's kind of annoying. That's one of the reasons I don't like McFarlane figures that much. But like, yeah, it would have been really nice if he could just do that, but he can't. He also has no LEDs, which, you know, these two have LEDs, but he comes with blast effects. So I'd rather honestly have the blast effects over the LEDs. But yeah, the only problem I have is he doesn't have a waist joint, and that is kind of unfortunate. So other than that waist joint, I like this quite a bit. Again, for the price, I feel these Pro Kits are pretty solid action figures. I know it doesn't transform, and if that's not your thing, then that is completely fine. But these are really nice, so if you want something like this, then I highly recommend giving it a try. If you want to branch out your collecting and maybe try the non-transforming Transformers figures, these are a pretty good place to start. I do hope that when they do the other two, because I know they're going to do the other two, they fix the waist, because then that would just make this figure like a 9 out of 10. But that's my look at Yolopark Soundwave. Yolopark Soundwave hasn't even come out yet. Yolopark AMK Pro Starscream. There we go. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.